Goeiemorgen, good morning, kia ora, and to my Capitanian friends away. Guys and girls, this is day 0. The last day before our official lockdowns begin. So, yep, let me see who's joined us this morning. To Johanna Dreschker, I hope goeiemorgen, good morning, hello. I see there's quite a few people that has joined us now. Presumably when I did my thing yesterday, the President of South Africa also had his thing on, so that's probably why our figures were a bit low yesterday morning, but alright. We're back on day 0, as I like to call this, day before lockdown. Interesting few things that I want to tell you about that has happened yesterday, or that I saw yesterday basically. This is like living in a movie, Apocalypse Now or something like that, one of those heavy duty stuff where you have to shoot people through the head with a silver bullet and wear garlic around your neck and live off the bush. Yeah, the feeling on the ground here in New Zealand, I don't know what the feeling is on the ground there in South Africa. I could not find anybody yet that could really tell me what the feeling is among the people, but the feeling in New Zealand is people is hesitant. Just want to say hello, good evening to Chantel, good Vanessa, hello. Chantel and Hannes Hatting, hi. Everybody else, hi, good morning. Good evening to the South Africans that just joined us in. So, the feeling on ground level is a bit hesitant. There's a bit of urgency in the air. We went down to the local Pack and Save, that's our equivalent of Pick and Pay in South Africa, or very much the same, except they've just got more friendly people working there. You could see people was there as if on a mission. I needed to buy this, this and this. People were very friendly with each other. Good morning Jolene, good morning Samantha, good morning Magda. People were still friendly with each other, but they kept their distance. They really, you could see they keep their distance. The floors has got big circles marked on where you are allowed to stand. You're not allowed to stand nearer than this. In front of the cashiers, they've put up like bulletproof glass, so they could put up the glasses down there. So if you should spit at them or something, or spit while you're talking, some people talk drooly, this will not reach them. So they're full-time protected behind this piece of glass, plus you've got a circle where you are supposed to stand on, and they quickly remind you to go and stand on the circle, don't come nearer. So you do your own thing, you pack your stuff on the conveyor belt, it just goes behind this piece of glass or perspex and she scans the stuff there and she puts it into your trolley, and then you step forward, and that's the only time you actually step forward nearer to her, and then it's when you pay on the machine. But a few things that worries me still is the fact they do not clean the machines. I actually only thought about this later, so to be quite frank, it didn't worry me while I was in the store, but I only thought about this later. Everybody else, we had any other germs were punching in the card codes there, but nobody cleaned that machine up, and I mean that's direct contact with, because the next guy was 2 or 3 minutes before me went through there. So how long this virus can live on a surface like that, I haven't got the faintest idea. Then yesterday I needed, as I said to you yesterday morning, I needed to go to the pharmacy, get a script from the doctor. Went to the pharmacy, and the pharmacy actually closed between 12 and 2. Why, I don't know. Still doesn't make sense to me. They closed between 12 and 2, and so I was there at 1 o'clock. I waited an hour until they opened, and they only allowed in 4 people. So luckily for me, my script wasn't there yet, because I got back in my car and phoned them out of the car and asked if my script was there, and they said no. So I went to the doctor, which is right next to them, stopped at the door. The guy with a near full hazmat suit opened the door, asked me what I want, explained to him my story, and he asked me the following questions. Have I been having a temperature today? And I said no. And he asked me, have I been overseas in the last 14 days? And I said no. And only then was I allowed to go in. Now in the past, the doctors has had this open counter where you can just come up to the counter and speak to them. Now they've also got a sticky tape on the floor. It's got strange lines on it. Didn't read what it says there. And then between me and the girl that served me, there was also a piece of glass erected down there. So um, on this erected piece of glass, I couldn't really talk to her over the glass, which meant she was quite well protected. And then she brought my script, but she had to bring it around the counter for me, which is probably defies the purpose. But anyway, okay. That's one of those things. So they're trying their very, very best to protect their people. I mean, even a big company like Back and Save, where we went shopping, even that company, I mean, to put up all those barriers, and they've got tons of stores. I don't even know how many stores they have, but they've got, in our area, they've got about 3 or 4 stores. And this is just in our area, and they've got throughout the whole country, they've got these type of stores. So in a period of about 1 or 2 days, they had to erect all these barriers all over the area. So that's a good thing for me. For me, I think it's a good thing. What I found interesting is when I walked up to the chemist, there was already a really long line there, which stood about 3-4 people deep, which I thought was discomforting. And when I went up to the door, it's typical South African, I didn't go to the back of the line because I wanted to see what goes on at the door. When I went up to the door, people just made way for me. They immediately made their 1.5-2 meter distance from me. Even in the parking lot, when I parked my vehicle, there was a guy standing there. When I opened my door, we went and stood on the next parking. So I thought, okay, so social distancing working in New Zealand, that's good. I saw some of the stuff coming out of South Africa. The figures out of South Africa this morning is 554. New Zealand's 155 infected. We have no deaths yet, so that's a good thing. We have no deaths yet. Yep. I do not want us to cross that barrier of when we will reach the deaths. I hope that doesn't happen. I really will touch wood, hold thumbs, everything else. So let's not cross that line of getting into the death side, because once you get into the death side, then your figures are totally different. I've been looking at the Italy figures this morning. I've got it in front of me here. Italy, 5,249 new cases in the last 24 hours. They have nearly 7,000 deaths already there. Remember, China has had 3,200 deaths. The Chinese infected cases is 81, while the Italy cases stands on 70,000. So Italy is about 10,000 still below China, but they've got more than double the amount of deaths, which is, oh my goodness, this is horrific. The other big one that worries me is the USA. USA has got nearly 50,000 people that are infected, and their figures very much look the same as Italy, 5,800 new cases. Although the deaths is much lower, the Italy deaths for the past 24 hours was 743. The USA was only 69. We're sounding very morbid this morning, yeah? But this is what you got to look at. This is what you got to realize, that this virus is real. I know there's still a lot of people just saying it's a bad cold and people are overreacting. I'm very glad my country is overreacting. If that is what I see Cyril saying, this SA has got too critical. The SA figures is a bit worrisome. I mean, I worry about any figures coming out of Africa. If you think about the way the previous president used to count, I mean, that's worrisome in its own. Who's really counting and who's really testing? Are they really testing the majority of people that has these symptoms? I know in South Africa or in New Zealand we tested nearly 8,000 people. That was 2 days ago. I don't know the amount today. I haven't checked that yet. So as Nisgol saying that China also lies about, I also believe that the Chinese figures is made in China as well. So that's a bit of a worry there as well. We will never really know the real impact of this virus, because the Chinese took about a month to tell the World Health Organization that they have got a problem. And I mean, it could have been so easily stopped there. I think if we stopped the whole world from doing business and allowing Chinese in, then it could have been a totally different story. We could have locked down China from the rest of the world, and that would have stopped the virus in China and wouldn't have been allowed out. So Alcibiades Sneyman saying, this is bad and scary. Can't believe people still asking, can we take? Let's go that way. I saw some things from the Department of Home Affairs on the South African side. The big concern on that is the way that the rules and regulations they have around what you guys in South Africa can do versus what we can do in New Zealand. We have to keep the social distancing. That's a 2-meter thing. You have to stay at home, so you're not allowed to go into work. You're not allowed to go to parties, bars. Everything else will be closed. We are allowed to take your dog for a walk. We are allowed to go to the beach. We are allowed to go fishing. We are allowed to do a lot of things, but you have to be either with only your immediate family, that's the ones that are quarantined with you in your house, or you have to do that alone. I'm not allowed to meet up with my friend and we go fishing on his boat. That's totally out. Totally out. So I'll be there, my little rubber duck, trying to catch some big sharks and stuff like that, but he'll be on his bigger boat. But yeah, that's just, but I see in South Africa you're not allowed to travel more than one person per car, which I think is a bit hectic. Although in the next 4 weeks, if anybody goes out to the shops, we've actually done, I'll tell you about the shopping yesterday. Whenever we go out to the shops, we'll take single runs. That means just one person will be exposed at that specific time. So I think probably will be me, and I'll keep on being exposed at the same time, so that if there's anything wrong with me, that it's only one person in the household that is getting sick. So on the other side is our shopping. We ordered a bit of stuff from January onwards. I said to the wife, every time you go to the shop, buy us a bit more. And then in Feb, as the panic buying on toilet paper took the rounds, I said to her, let's go and buy a few things. So we bought about another week and a half stuff, and with this what we had about 2 weeks. So we've got these big things there in the garage. I've got a very nice garage. It's not a dirty place. I've got a very nice garage. We've got this big black bins that can seal, and that's full of food. So we've basically got 2 weeks of food. So for the next 2 weeks we will still be buying in, and then the last 2 weeks we'll start using that food sparingly, as we don't know that we will only be locked down for 4 weeks. We could be in lockdown for much longer. So yep, let me see here. South Africans saying we are not allowed. Hannah saying, well, Hannah saying we're not allowed to go to the ocean, to the beach. I think even in the middle of December here, in the middle of our most busiest time in this area, you could still be all alone on a beach here. That's the nice thing about New Zealand. We've got massive beaches. We've got beaches for kilometers. I think the one at Papamoa is something like 20 kilometers long or something like that. It's just an immense beach. You can really go and get lost on the beach yourself. So that's the one thing that they are asking us to do, is stay away from each other while you are on the beach. I doubt if everybody will go to the beach every day and go and lie down there. It's starting to get winter now. I didn't show you the outside of my place this morning, as the camera was pointing inwards this morning, because outside was still dark. The sun is starting to get up now, so when we finish off, we'll show you what the outside looks today. So Margaret Lynn Gelden is saying, hi Jan, they do tests at 1,600 Rand a test, and medical aid only pays if you tested positive. That was another thing that was worrying me. If you look at the average worker, we actually talked about Pick and Pay workers yesterday. The guy or girl there, the one that says airtime, plastic, that one, they earn about 3,600 Rand a month. Now they're going to pay 1,600. I didn't even think it was this expensive. 1,600 Rand. So that leaves them with 2,000 Rand. Who in their right mind can afford to take that amount of money out of their paycheck, especially if it's that low? I'm not talking about somebody earning 100,000 Rand. I'm talking about somebody just living just below because that's below the breadline. That's basically below the breadline. Somebody just living below the breadline. Now I've got to take 2 weeks of food from their table just to go and do a test to see if that could be positive. That's a weird thing. That's a weird thing. Who is going to do that? And then the other thing around people with the I don't want to we'll use the word servant, but you've all got domestics. Your domestics, I actually forget what these people are called in South Africa because we don't have them here. If your domestic that comes to work every day, are you going to test them? Are you going to pay this 1,600 Rand out? Or are you just going to take the chance to have that domestic in your house while this is all going on? I do understand that they're not allowed to come down. Have you thought about what is going to happen if those people haven't got food to eat anymore? Because this is the next part where we're going. I also see that the ANC has brought out brilliant policies regarding who can get some of this grant money. Although I do believe they might have probably paid out most of the grant money to themselves already. So, Carl said the financial implications for households is a big concern. It's a massive concern all over. Down here in New Zealand as well. Most of the households has got 2 people working, and most of them has got 1 person that's just been told we can't pay you for the period that you're off. So, but the New Zealand government has made available $9.3 billion to help smaller businesses through this period of time. You do not have to be black or white or anything like that. You just have to have a smaller business. So this is one of those things that government is really doing for us on this side. And I could tell you, although this lockdown is one of the weirdest things, or the worst things probably ever that I've seen in my life, and I've seen a lot of things, and I think this lockdown is just going to become more worse and worse as time goes on. But I'm glad I'm in New Zealand for this lockdown. I'm sorry for the guys that stuck in South Africa. Sorry, I'm not being biased at all, but I just think we will be much better looked after in this country than back home. So let's see. Is there any questions here? Anything you can tell me about South Africans? I saw somebody said that the feeling on the ground. Then wait 5 days. 5 days for the results to come out of South Africa. Tauranga's got a drive-in place. They've taken the local race course. They erected tents there. I don't know what it looks like in the rest of the country. So forgive me if Tauranga's probably the best off or not. I don't know. But I think that this will be the norm throughout of New Zealand. We have the testing station down at the Tauranga racing course. So if anybody don't know where that is in Tauranga, get hold of me, I'll tell you where. At the racing course, they've erected tents. You drive in and they test you while you are driving there. They do test you, and it's like a hit and run. You stop, test, there you go. Bye-bye. Even while I was waiting at the chemist, it was quite interesting. I saw the doctors, here, they all got nurses working for them. So the smaller things, the ECGs and these type of things will be done by the nurse in a little cubicles they've got at the doctor's rooms while the doctor's still busy with other patients. So these nurses now go out fully hazmat suit on. If you need something like a flu injection or something like that, then they go out to your car, you open the door, and the nurse just leans in there, jabs you, walks off. So it was quite interesting because I was waiting there at the chemist, and this nurse came out with this full suit on. I first thought she was from a different country because it looks like this. So, yep, she came out, and then she screamed out a surname, like say, Van Merwe, but it wasn't Van Merwe, it was some English surname. She screamed out the surname, and in the car somebody blowed the hood, and she walked over to the car, opened the door, jab, and she left. So it was quite quick there. Yeah, that was quite interesting. Let's see. Sarah's saying, yeah, both Rupert and Oppenheimer. Yeah, I saw that those 2 guys are giving money, and since it's a great thing, but how will it be given back to the people that really needs it? So, and the problem is BEE has failed already. It has failed the past 20 years, but let's not go into politics. Otherwise, the wife will hit me over the head when I get finished here today. So, also be Snyman saying that son who works for big panel beaters aren't going to get a salary for a period of time. Tracking devices company not going to pay their people. Yeah, that's a problem. We've seen in New Zealand yesterday, they have announced from government side that they are going to give, that all the banks are going to have a 6 months extension on repayments of mortgages for people. The banks has got 2 days, so by what is today, Wednesday, Thursday, by Friday we will know what the banks, where their rules and regulations is regarding this, and that'll probably, if you are a homeowner, you'll probably can put your premiums on hold or on ice for about 6 months. So that is the one side around that's looking good. What it will do for the tenants or the people renting, I still don't know. There's still no feedback on that, and I doubt if we will have any feedback on that before Friday. I think it could be that they say because we are putting our mortgages on hold, and you could give discount or something like that. But I can't promise you that it will happen. But we will update you as soon as we know what will happen there. A lot of people is renting in New Zealand because houses is very expensive. To the South Africans who don't know, average house, and I'm living in a really average house. This house was bought a year ago for 8 million rand. It's not a platte kloof house. It's a 3-bedroom, 2 bathrooms. It has been recently painted, I think in the last 5 years or so. It's not a big house. It cost 8 million rand. That's the price of houses. You very rarely buy a house in our area for under 6 million rand, or $600,000 as you call it this side. So 6 million rand buys you an entry-level house. 8 million rand. It's not a shabby house. I can live in this, but it's still a heck of a lot of money. Just before I left South Africa, we were actually thinking of doing an Airbnb type of thing, although I thought doing that in South Africa is absolutely crazy. But we looked at that, and we had to look at places that have got massive rooms. So we were looking in the platte kloof area, and in the platte kloof area, for those people that in Cape Town, it's the area there against the mountain on if you go out of Cape Town on the left-hand side, that's the platte kloof area there. They've got big houses. Some of those houses have got 10 rooms in there, with 10 rooms with 10 bathrooms and so forth. And those houses went from between 10 million rand to about 15 million rand. That was what we were looking or thinking of doing if we had to stay in South Africa. So for that same amount of price, I mean, this place of mine has got 3 bedrooms, smallish bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 8 million rand. Nothing smart about it. Doesn't even have a pool. So, yeah, that's a part of New Zealand that you still need to get under your belt. But as soon as you realize why, so yeah. Sarah asking, any news for SA house owners? I haven't heard anything about South Africa, and I doubt that will soon come. I know that the Reserve Bank in South Africa brought down the interest rate by 100 base points, which is 1%. They did the same down here in New Zealand. They brought it down by 0.75%, which makes it probably the lowest interest rate ever in the world. So I doubt if New Zealand ever had a lower interest rate than this. Your house will cost you about 3% now per year. So it's just things that they do to stimulate the economy, plus the $9.3 billion that they are pumping back into the economy in the way of a grant. It's what you basically got to do is, let me just get this right, don't quote me on this as well, if your business is going to earn less than 30% than the previous year, that amount government will make up for you, plus the salaries and so forth. But it's also one of those things, once you've received the money and it's not like that you are supposed to pay it back, and this will be regulated. I think that the bookkeepers and the accountants and these guys with much more brains than me, they will do the figures at the end of the day and say, oh yeah, you owe government half of the money, or you don't owe government, or you owe government everything. So that's just one of those things. Corey asking, how are the older people going to get their pensions? Oh yeah, they got to stand in queues to get their pensions. Yeah, but that's even worse, to think that they're all being herded into the same group, and then they got to stand there and wait and get their queues from somebody, or get their money from somebody who could be sick as well. So yeah, guys, a lot of challenges lying ahead for us. I think in New Zealand our challenges is a bit less. We could still do a lot of online shopping as well. We could still buy stuff over the internet. I see that most of our takeaway places will have people on the inside. You are not allowed to go and buy there, but they will be able to deliver. So that's something to keep in mind. How ethical that will be for people to do that, I don't know, and time will only tell. We saw in the newspapers yesterday one of the big groups, the warehouse, saying they will be open for the period of time, but it looks like they won't be allowed to be open for the period of time, as they are non-essential. Even us, as a financial advisors, banks and these places has been made as an essential companies from yesterday on by the Financial Markets Authority, or the FMA as we call it here. They are the same as the FSB in South Africa, so we are an essential company. We We are allowed to stay open, but we've decided from our side to stay open, but not to do face-to-face. So if you need me and you got a telephone, you can go into the WhatsApp and we can do a WhatsApp call, because you can see my face. I'll be a meter away from my camera, if that makes you feel any more comfortable. So, all right. I actually went yesterday. After the first chemist, I got my script from the doctor and I drove to a totally different chemist, and they took me through. The lady had a mask on and gloves on and everything on that you can think on, and she escorted me through the chemist, and I had to tell her, because my lovely wife sent me a list of stuff that we urgently needed from the chemist. So while we were going through, I read the stuff, but the problem is the wife typed in Afrikaans and I had to read this in English, so we still don't have stuff that we can chorrel, because I couldn't get chorrel. I still don't know what is chorrel in English. Goodness me. All right, but we got all the other needed stuff, and I actually bought us a lot of gloves as well. Bought a whole box for $16, which I don't think it's too bad. So, yep. That was my shopping. My only shopping left this morning is to buy us some bait. So I'm waiting at about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I'm going down to the local company that sells soft bait, so we can have some bait for the next 4 weeks, so we can go and catch some nice fish. Yep, Vanita saying, yeah, the takeaway delivery is a no, includes Uber Eats. All right, that's quite interesting. I just saw that Domino's said that they will be open. It's quite interesting on that. The wife said gargle. Jeez, that doesn't sound right. Okay, I didn't know what gargle was. Gargle is chorrel. Okay, that's good. Vanita, I'll have a mask on tomorrow, I promise you that. There was actually no mask left, and they only had this stupid surgical mask, which means you could still get in all the bad stuff, but you couldn't get if you spit, it was in the mask, but you could get in all the nasty viruses and stuff out there. So I just thought, no, I'm not going to buy any masks, but they didn't have any. So I just got the gloves, and I thought perhaps a good thing if you go out and you got to buy stuff like fuel and so, because in New Zealand you can buy fuel with no help from human intervention. You just go there and get a mask on and just type there. And then yesterday I went for my final haircut for 4 weeks. So yep, that has been done. And Shirley, thanks a lot. And she actually gave me a few gloves, and that's what brought the whole thing up. When I walked into the chemist, I thought, geez, let's just get some more gloves there. Yep. Vanita's saying there's a big list of what are essential services. Yeah, but interesting part of essential services, even some guys like lorry drivers are essential services, and I mean, I think that's absolutely great that they're doing this. The stuff still needs to flow. The supermarkets yesterday had more than enough stock, really. To those guys that the toilet paper hoarders, they even had toilet paper in the aisle, but you were only allowed to take 2. So if you are in there, they do the big, I think 16 rolls into one. You can take 2 of those, and you can have 32 rolls. That's just what my mind said to me if I was a toilet paper hoarder. So I do have enough toilet paper to last me for 2 weeks. So. All right, guys and girls, Vanita Herbens is on tomorrow morning. I see Vanita saying liquor stores are non-essential. Luckily, Pack and Save, one of those places do sell liquor. I saw that yesterday and I made a mental note of that. I also saw a few of my clients down there stocking up, not on toilet paper, but on liquor. So good on you guys, good on you guys. You guys are all set up, ready to go for 4 weeks. Yeah, someone just asking, how do we... Petrol in New Zealand, you drive up to the pump, you take your card, chuck it there into the machine, put in your PIN, saying what type of petrol you would want to use, or diesel. Like myself, I do diesel. Click on the diesel thing, take your card out, go to the pump that you indicated you are at, take your fuel hose, put it into your car, squirt it in until it's full, chuck it, there you go. So no human intervention. Most of these I throw in at Gull a lot, because Gull is probably the cheapest one in the area. I know there's people that saying Gull has got lower grade petrol and diesel, and I haven't found that yet, so I'm actually quite satisfied with them. But most of the Gulls around town here has got no humans on the premises, none at all. I know you guys in South Africa can't fathom that, but you drive up, there's 10 pumps standing. take your car, do your own thing, drive off, no humans. The only other humans is other people who also are throwing in diesel or petrol. So, yeah. Guys, because our time has come, but tomorrow morning, Vanita is on the show with us, and thereafter, after Vanita, we're going to have a bit of longer show this tomorrow morning. Thereafter, we'll have a physiotherapist on to give you a bit of advice how to do breathing exercises for the period coming up to strengthen your lungs, because that's probably one of the more needed parts of your lungs, because that's where the virus are going down to. So, all right, Vanita saying she is a toilet paper hoarder. Good on you. Bring some with tomorrow morning. All right, guys and girls, that is us for this today. Thanks for listening to me. You are keeping me sane. So let me show you what the outside looks like this morning. It's a lovely morning here down in Welcome Bay. My name is Viljoen, all the way from Welcome Bay in Tauranga, and the sun is slowly but surely coming up over the horizon down there. See you all tomorrow morning. Do good, stay well, stay safe, and stay virus free. Remember to wash your hands.